fucking Normies podcast.
It's been you all along.
Woo! What's up, everybody? And happy January to all of you guys. It's 2022. The year has changed. We've been gone for a whole year. This is our first time doing the podcast all year long. Yada, yada, yada. Stupid jokes. What up, y'all? How's it going?
What's going on?
Hi.
If you're wondering why I was wearing a ski mask, it's because it's 5 degrees outside.
Absolutely.
Also known as
bonkers
minus
cold.
15.
And you know what? I don't appreciate it. Like sort of snowed. I don't like.
No, it got so cold that the air outside was just like, I'm snow now. I stepped out yesterday and was like, it's not even snowing. It's just like.
I want a full on snow. Damn it. We got one snow.
You know where I was at when that was happening?
But it
One
only lasted
snow.
till noon.
I was literally balls deep in a beach.
Well, I'm ready
In
for
a
some
beach.
snow. Dang it. You know, winter. Show your face.
Winter, we dare you. Well, no, winter's here.
Do it. You won't.
You want like a beautiful. We were not gonna probably get that until like March.
Come on, weather. Do it. You won't.
What up? I almost read the comments. I'm trying not to.
I know. I was about to call you out.
Broke my own rules.
We can see the comments, but we are, we're trying to podcast over here.
Yeah. So we're gonna be podcasting the podcast until the end, where we will be talking with the comments and addressing you guys. But what'd you guys do for New Year's? How about you guys? I have to ask you because
I was sick on
What'd you have?
on Christmas. No. So like I was sick on Christmas, so my family was super nice and they delayed Christmas, so we just celebrated it along with New Year's. So like New Year's was just
for like the children too.
What?
The kids have to wait an extra 5 days.
Yeah.
Bitch, I would
Are you
have
serious?
overthrown the whole entire house.
Oh my god.
My
what?
niece and nephew, yeah, they had to wait.
I would have burned down the house.
But they got a bunch of gifts.
I would have jumped my mom and stole the presents. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
You are
like-
nuts. Hell no.
Like almost sick. Why do I give a fuck? Like
I'd be like, for Uncle
That
Micky?
is so
Uncle
funny.
fucking Micky? That's a beautiful thing that they did, and I applaud those kids for being well behaved, but there's no way in hell that I would let that shit fly.
No,
Well,
I would riot.
They had their own Christmas. This was like Christmas with me and the grandparents.
Okay, so the kids got to open their presents.
Yeah, like their own personal Christmas. Yeah.
See, I thought you were saying that they were like their mom,
No, I don't.
your brother and like sister-in-law,
that
or
would
your
make
sister and
sense.
brother-in-law were just like, you guys can't open presents until Uncle Micky's feeling better. If I was them, I'd be like, I hope Uncle Micky dies tomorrow so I can open my presents
Oh my
today.
god.
And that was it. That was like the moment in their childhood where they just like grew up to resent me and they don't quite know why.
And to see you years later and be like, I fucking hate him. I don't even know why. So for New Year's, you did Christmas. What about New Year's night, though?
New Year's night. I mean,
You know.
just hung out with the family. We just kind of ate a lot of food, drank, just a standard New Year's. So this year I really wanted to spend it with my family because like for the past few years I've been like doing something or the other. I'm like usually out of town or like at something. So it's been a long time since I had like a proper holiday with my family. So
What do you guys do at midnight? Who do you kiss when you're with your family?
I mean, we don't. We just kind of, it's actually really funny because like I feel like every household has this. But if you're watching New Year's from home, like my dad is like fully reclined on the couch. My mom is like in the kitchen cooking. So like once midnight hits, my dad, everybody's just like, Happy New Year. Then my dad's like getting up out of the recliner, and then everybody just awkward hugs all around. I don't know. It's just like, it's pretty anticlimactic. It's just like, oh, it's midnight.
I mean, that's New Year's as a whole.
Yeah. And I miss Dick Clark, and of course, we got hit with the Betty White tragedy too. It was a lot. It was a lot.
R.I.P. Betty White. I won't say that that's a tragedy.
Oh, I mean, she had a full life, but it's always tragic when people go.
Did she turn 100?
She was about to.
She was
I think she's
about
about
to.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But yeah, and New Year's watching it on TV, like it was capped to 15,000 people, so it was just like it just felt like I don't know, man. It was a very dystopian kind of feeling.
What?
It was because like on New Year's you're used to seeing like full streets in like New York, and this time it seemed like very abandoned.
Yeah.
It just had like a weird feeling to it, and it just like some of the performances were like super awkward because there's no crowd to perform for. What are you looking at? Why are you? Oh, that's Betty White.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Why did you just have that ready?
Wait, because you brought up Betty White, yeah? I look like Betty White?
What are you guys looking at?
She was a looker.
Like, show it to the...
I can't show it to the camera. It's Betty White's nudes.
Wow.
And not in a disrespectful way. She used to be a model. And I was just showing Micky because he brought up Betty White, and I thought he might think that was interesting.
Yeah.
See?
I guess, yeah.
She was a high grandma, right? There you go.
She was a looker.
Interesting tatas.
But
back in the day.
yeah, you know, that was New Year's. It was just, you know, we're just watching it on TV. And...
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. One more really funny thing happened. So like when midnight hit, like our neighbors started letting off fireworks. So my mom was like, "Oh, let's go outside and look at the fireworks." So as soon as we opened the door to our deck, it's just like the strongest smell of weed. And like I'm looking at my mom, she's looking at me because like they caught me smoking before. So she's looking at me like immediately accusatory. I'm like, I'm right here. Like I haven't done anything.
She's like, "How did you do it?" Mickey, here's my only bit of, just tell your parents, just walk in there with a blunt and be like, it's legal in California, I don't give a fuck. What y'all gonna do, kick me out? I lived halfway across town.
Yeah, I think it would be different now. But yeah, that was really funny because like I knew that she could, like neither of us wanted to say what it was, but I was like, it smells like somebody's smoking 7.5 blunts out here.
Speaking of 7.5 blunts, for New Year's, we just kind of hung around the apartment. I'll give you my version of the events, and then I guess Marquette will give you hers.
Oh God.
So we just hung out. The homie Obed was over. Who else? Nuvi was there. Bree, Spidey. I think that's everybody you guys would know. A couple people from the apartment. And we just kind of hung around. We had some drinks. We did some Just Dance. We got really shitty charcuterie with some of the saltiest blue cheese I ever had. And we got that one cheese.
That blue cheese was delicious.
Tastes like a tonsil stone. That was kind of gross, but everybody else was into it.
Also delicious.
Tonsil stone?
Yeah, you never had that cheese that really stinks, but people eat it anyway.
Well,
I'm
hung up on what the hell.
You don't
is
know
a-
what a tonsil stone is?
What's a tonsil stone?
You have to Google that on your own.
Oh my God.
These are like little bacteria balls you get in your tonsils that smell terrible.
I never heard of this.
Yeah. Well, okay. Anyway, so cheese, charcuterie, playing Just Dance. Somebody got a little too drunk. I don't know how, but
Of course.
I remember the ball going down and the congratulatories everywhere. We smoked a bunch of hookah, which was really fun. Marquette got it for Christmas. And then after that...
Did you do cartwheels in the courtyard?
No. And then after that, nada. So I'm on my no drink in January. I'll probably extend it a bit until
It's been
February.
7 days. How are you
7 whole
feeling?
days. See, here's the problem, is that this is the most boring part of the year.
Indeed.
Just sitting around being like, we've watched all the TV, I've exercised, I've made music, I edited some photos, I've done all the things today, and just be sitting there and like, it's 8 o'clock and it's dark. What do we do?
It feels like, yeah, like
Just
like
waiting to go to bed.
the first few weeks of January, because like especially we took a break coming back, it feels like a really slow boot up to a computer. I'm just
Yeah.
like, it just feels like I'm like in
It's just-
a weird limbo.
Nothing to do. It'd have been nice if like, all right, so there's some movies we could have went to. We could have went to the arcade. We could have done all these things outside of the house that don't involve drinking. I even got a buddy who's been not drinking for like 75
Let's
days.
go to the arcade
And he
bar.
told me, yeah, I'm down. And he was like, just get seltzer waters everywhere you go. He's like, it's the best way. Cause then you're like, 'cause I need to be like drinking and doing something. Cause I like to just, I don't know, socially drink. It doesn't have to be alcohol. I'll figure it out. But we've been on quarantine for the last 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
My little sister got us exposed on Christmas, so we were on quarantine all the way up until when we got our test back, up until New Year's. Did New Year's, and then that Sunday we got re-exposed and had been on quarantine all the way up until literally yesterday.
It's getting
So, like-
it's getting to the point of like unavoidability at this point.
Right, so like it's like I don't mind the being on quarantine, but then like that's when you're like sitting at home, and I'm like, there is nothing to do. At least,
Yeah.
like, I could
Like-
have 2 or 3 beers and be like, oh, that felt like I did something for a bit. Brought a little excitement. We've played so many video games.
We
been
beat
on it.
we beat Bowser.
Yeah, we played, what was that? Super Mario 3D World? We just beat that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we didn't beat it.
We didn't beat it yet?
We remember we beat Bowser, and then we got to the next level where Bowser comes back
Oh,
up in the rainbows.
yeah.
So.
Haha, they always come back.
All right, so what did you do?
Yeah,
Tell
well-
me about your New Year's compared to mine.
Yeah,
Well, you know, guys, I did the same thing that Chris did. So instead of that, I'm just going to tell you about Czech New Year traditions.
Ooh.
So
And then I'll tell you about the day after New Year's.
I will preface by saying that I hate New Year's. It's literally my least favorite day out of the entire year.
Why is that, Marquette?
that?
Every single day, I can't wait for it to be over so that we can move on with our lives into the new year.
Why don't you like it?
I don't like it because, like, ever since I was a child, something fucked up happened on New Year's. And also, like, during New Year's, I like the fireworks. It's
What about
fun.
the shooting?
I hate the shooting.
Okay.
But also, people go a little overboard on the fireworks in my country, and they tend to buy things that are not really approved.
Just military grade
And
fireworks.
every time on the New Year's Day, there is like news report about however many people lost their arms and legs, and
Jesus.
yeah, it's a thing. So
I don't think those are fireworks.
I
at that
also
point.
remember like one time, like me and my parents went downtown to see the fireworks, and we were walking back to our house, and like something literally exploded in front of my face. Like came out of nowhere, exploded in front of my face, and like ever since then I just like kind of like keep my distance during New Year's. You know that the trust is gone now. But also, if you're at home, so one of your options is to go out and expose yourself to the risk of losing hands. Your other option is to stay at home and watch TV, which is also really bad because Czech TV just like provide this like variety show, which is just people who shouldn't be singing and dancing are singing and dancing.
That's the most Ryan thing you've ever said.
It's just really like not entertaining at all. And you just kind of like wait around, watch this boring broadcast until it's midnight, and you just like chin chin, and then you go to bed.
Little Slivovica.
Yeah, and as I became able to drink alcohol in my early adulthood, I realized that I hate alcohol. I hate being around drunk people, and I feel like people always go way overboard during New Year's.
Well,
and it's just
if you're gonna go overboard on any day.
no, literally pick any day where it's just you. Then that I have to deal with one person that's extremely drunk. I don't want to deal with a whole group of people around me that's drunk as shit, and I'm like the only sober. I wasn't even sober, but like I was aware that everybody around me was absolutely shit hammered, and I was not having a good time.
I wasn't that shit hammered.
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say, Chris said your version of events. Can you like tell us from your perspective what it looks like to see Chris getting drunk? Like you know his point of no return. Like what does that look like? Like
Well, he's really like cool at first, and he is always a social butterfly. He's much more extroverted than me. But when he had a little bit too much to drink, it multiplies. And he's just like talking to random strangers and invites them to our apartment, and it's just like,
okay, I can see where that would happen.
I don't know who these people are, and they're definitely not coming to our apartment. So, you better go figure that out and talk to them again, because I'm not letting them into our apartment.
Chris just has like an open
We
door
just
policy.
recovered from a quarantine, so.
I was really, feeling the love. I might have fallen aslept on the floor
He's
with
always
company.
very
Just
lovey.
Dance?
Oh, yes. Then we got into our apartment. One of our friends helped us put everything in the fridge and stuff, while Chris fell asleep sitting down on the floor.
I like that we're using the word fall asleep here, not passed out, but moral of the story is don't drink and socialize, kids.
Oh man,
Just get to a proper amount of drunk and then stop. I literally have the rules where I'm like, I'm gonna drink this much and then I'm done.
I haven't done a phone cleanup in a long time, but every time I look through like some really old stuff, I'm like, I still have that cartwheel video.
Yeah.
There's some videos I have of you.
See, but that wasn't a plan. That's what always happens
have-
is we go out with like a solid plan of let's get like 2 or 3 drinks and then like something hype happens, or with
Several
Patty, she's just like,
minutes
let's get
later.
another one. If someone buys like 2 shots, you're like, cool, and the next thing you know, you're in for 50, and it's like, nah. Like, you just got to be like, I am having 3 beers, 1 shot, and I am done for the
I have
night.
a video where you were freestyling to Marquetta too. That was actually pretty good.
Oh, I wasn't drunk for that though.
I know you weren't drunk for that, but it was,
Okay.
I just have like
The end part.
neat videos. of
So 2 things. One, when I lived back in Gary, what we would do for New Year's as kids is after all the shooting, we would go out the next day and collect all the shells and then like add them up and be like, oh, like who's got what? And that's how I learned all my bullet casings.
that. Damn.
Beautiful.
We used to have the fucking fat collection,
Lovely
bro.
childhood.
What? Hell yeah, it was the shit. And that's how you'd be able to tell like what gun was
People
what.
just shoot into the air.
Oh my god, it literally sounds like Armageddon.
Just willy nilly.
Blah, 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 shit. When I stayed on the Near East Side of here, there was the last New Year's that I lived on the Near East Side. My next door neighbor, shout out to Drama, the motherfucking homie. I did some music videos for him. So if y'all seen any of the music videos I did in the past for the homie Drama, that's Drama with a J. Fucks with him.
What?
But
What?
Drama with the J. J-R-A-M-A.
But you pronounce it drama.
Well, how would you say it? J-R-A-M-A.
Drama.
Grandma.
Grandma.
So
That's clever.
So him and his boys, he had an SKS and was just out. It's like him and the homies were out there, and I was like, damn, they have been shooting for so long. And this was before bullets cost a shit ton too. Anyway, all that to say this. One of our neighbors at our apartment, and I won't use any names, but if he's listening, y'all fucked up. Shit was weird. Shit was way weird. Y'all fucked up. You were really weird. Motherfucker left his phone with us, right? And so
this New Year's,
yeah, New Year's, because he was wasted too. Also, he tried to hit on a couple of the ladies that was hanging out with us, and I was like, all right, that's cool. But then, so he leaves his phone with us, right? So I wake up the next day, motherfucker's phone's going off. I'm like, Marquette, your phone? She's like, it's not my phone. I was like, oh man, who? And she's like, well, old boy left his phone, so I'm gonna go grab it, right? Look at it, I was like, damn, it's been blowing up, right? Just blowing the fuck up. I'm like, well, they'll have to call back. So I start getting dressed in my little hungover state. Somebody calls back, and I'm like, oh, cool. Hey, what's up? I've got old boy's phone. And the lady's like, oh my God, I hope you didn't see any of those pictures I sent. And I was like, no, I didn't. I'm not in his phone. I could just, it's whatever. I got the phone. She's like, okay, well, if you just bring it by like the bar later on, it'll be fine. Like, I'll give it to him. Like, I'll hook him up. I got it, right? She's like, I'm going to see him later. And I was like, all right, cool. Got you, right? Bet. So we got the day plan. We go out and see one of our friends. And we get over to our friend's house and the phone rings again. This time it's a different name. It's a different number. It's a different picture. So I pick up. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I got old boy's phone. I can't reach him, but if you know like which apartment he lives in, like I can take it to him.
This is your neighbor?
Yeah, one of our neighbors. Yeah.
Really?
And this like girl goes, well, first off, it's my apartment that he lives in. Second off, I'm his girlfriend. Who are you? And I'm hanging out with Marquetta and one of our other friends, and like they can both hear, they both get quiet. They're like, oh shit. And I'm like, well, and she's like, okay, well, he was supposed to pick me up at the airport, and I'm stuck at the airport right now. And I'm like, oh my God. And she's like, so like, what do you like? I was like, look, I'm about to wrap up here. I'm gonna take the phone back to the apartment. Now that I know what apartment he's in, I'll just give it to him. He can take care of this. And she's like, don't even worry about it. All right, cool. Gets off the phone, and I'm like, well, sounds like there's a small pressing emergency. I should go drop this motherfucker's phone back off, right? So go, and we're driving home to take the phone home. She calls again, and she's just like, I just want to know, like, how did you guys like meet? Like, did he tell you about me or anything? I kind of feel like I'm being interrogated. Like I've been fucking David all night. Let a name slip there might be. Like I've been fucking old boy all night. And she's like accusing me. She's coming at me with the same kind of energy. Another girl comes at another girl like accused of like.
Can you imagine I answered the phone?
It'd have been gang.
I would die.
She'd have rushed through the phone. Like, she'd have baited your ass. Throw the phone. So I'm like, fuck me. So finally, I get this phone to her, and she comes into the apartment, and we get to me, right? And she's like, so like, well, like, like, explain to me again, like, how did you guys meet? And I was like, well, he came down for New Year's. He was by himself for New Year's. So anyone with his family or anything. So, I was like, you get to come hang out with us, and that's chill, that's cool, hospitality and shit. She said, did he tell you? Did he even mention he had a girlfriend? And I was like, no. So we hung out, and like, we drank all night. I don't remember a bunch of it, but like, we had fun. And she was like, you guys hang out all night? Takes the phone and dips off, and I'm like, woo! Never gonna have to see those motherfuckers again.
Oh, until someone on was it?
It was the next day.
The next day, I was getting ready for a book club. I was about to leave the house, and someone knocks on the door like viciously.
Oh hell no!
And right? I was by myself. Like Chris wasn't home.
So usually, you come knocking on my door like that, you're being met with animosity.
Yeah,
off
I'm grabbing a knife.
Off top.
But like,
maybe more.
It's just me and the cat, and I'm like, I was just like looking out,
who is it?
Looking at them, and I saw it was him and like some hooded figure, and they were just like,
oh yeah, I'm grabbing the strap. What's
right. I was, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening? So I was like pretending that I'm not there. And then they looked under our doormat.
What the fuck? Okay.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding? You were about to enter my house? Were you looking for a key? What is happening?
You think this is the suburbs?
Yeah. Then they leave. And so a few minutes later, I'm all ready. So I like leave. I open the door. My fucking doormat is missing.
What? Alright, so she calls me, and I'm shitty. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm hanging out with one of my buddies from high school because he's helping us on the bus. He's like, you trying? We about to go fuck some people up? I was like, no. This isn't the olden days. Let's go. I was like, you be chill. I'm gonna go handle this.
But damn near, goddamn.
Right. So I get back, and I really come like I'm shitty, right? And I'm like, I'm back at the house. I'm like, you came to my house, like you didn't disturb my sanctity and shit. Like, what the fuck? And because we don't have anybody's numbers or anything like that, so I know what apartment they're in. I go back, and he's just like, he's like, oh yeah. I think I left my jacket there, and the keys and the jacket, and like my girlfriend's mad because she's gonna have to pay $200 to get the key replaced. And this. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but like, so we're walking. I'm really trying to suss it out of him, like, because it's a walk from his apartment to mine. It's a bit of a walk, and I'm like, so like, what's? I was like. So what's up? And he's like, oh man, you guys are real cool, man. He's just like blah blah blah, and like trying to be friendly. I'm like, I don't know about all that. We'll get back to the house, and he tries to come into my apartment while I'm getting a jacket. I was like, you can wait outside. So I get him his jacket. He's got the key, and he's like, oh man, things like, you know what happened to my doormat? He goes, oh, thought I had the wrong apartment, so like I just threw it down the hallway. He's like, that's the truth, man. I'm sorry. So I look down the hallway, and my mat's like halfway down the hallway, and I'm like, what do you mean that's the truth? What are you, 6? You fucking 5?
Wait,
like,
he thought he had the wrong apartment, so because of that, he threw their doormat?
And then tells me that that's the truth, but that doesn't sound like any of the truth at all.
Can't control his fucking temper.
Sounds like you knew it was the right apartment and you were shitty, so you threw the mat. All right, and he was like, how'd you know I was home? I was like, well, my wife was there, but she wasn't going to answer the door. The crazy people fucking knocking. He's like, oh. All right, and he's like, all right, well, like, so I'll see you later. I was like, oh.
No, you will never see us again.
I don't know about that, man. You see me, we ain't speaking.
Yeah,
that's it, motherfucker.
You better
like,
actively try to avoid me.
That is
you see me there, you one of those,
weird.
So yeah, man, whole entire
weird.
like saga. And I'm like, can you keep your shitty unraveling life like pushed over there to where it should be instead of trying to bram over this way? Like, we avoid drama. We very much tailored a life outside of drama.
Yeah,
You don't come bringing that shit in here, man.
That is strange. Is he bi? Is that why his girlfriend was
That's what I was
Well,
thinking.
that, based off of the fact that he tried to kiss one of the girls that was hanging out with us, and based off of the fact that a different girl called talking about, I hope you didn't send the pictures that I seen. I think this motherfucker's a fucking around ass motherfucker, and his girl know about it.
You know what?
Obviously.
I never thought about that because like if you're dating a straight person and they have a history of cheating, like that would be one.
Yeah, right. That's one issue.
That would be one level of paranoia, but like a bi person that has a history of cheating, like you're
Like, fucking everybody,
you're
right?
fucking everybody.
But like, no. My friend's like non-binary. And I'm like, I don't know if that counts, but I think you're fucking everybody.
I mean, there's
Well,
nothing,
that'd be
there's nothing
technically
wrong with being bi, but don't
No.
cheat.
Yeah, the problem is that you're a cheater.
Don't cheat.
Also, if your partner is a known philanderer and you know about it, maybe leave your partner just because you can. It doesn't give you an excuse to be shitty towards strangers because you think that your partner's fucking that stranger.
That
Bruh.
is strange. Did
That was
you
crazy.
complain? Did you like tell the leasing office that?
Well,
No, I
I
don't-
was really close. Like, if they
would.
just like grabbed my doormat and like took it and put it like in front of their door, I would like straight up go to the office and be like, hey, these people need to be evicted because they are insane.
Yeah, I mean, they would get like a strike.
shit.
I think you got to get 3 strikes. Personally, I like to
I'd have
take
said
it to
something.
like, I'm going to take it person to person before I take it to the leasing office.
Yes.
Sure.
And like specifically with this thing, I'm like, it's after New Year's. Like, I get it. People drink, people fuck up. But like, I'm not going to have an issue with them again. And if I do, it's going to be person to person one more time before it gets all the way escalated. And the next time it's person to person, it will be nothing nice. Like, I'll do all the yelling and intimidating and shit. And y'all be normal fucking people and just leave us the fuck alone. But
Like the worst part for me was really like when they looked under the doormat.
Yeah, what the
with
fuck?
the intention to enter our apartment.
that part is like, do you know that one?
Yeah,
not only is this is America.
Like, I would say something.
That's
Like, what the fuck?
baffling.
You guys are just gonna let that slide? I mean, you didn't let it slide, but I'm
I
saying
talked
like,
with them. Also, let them come in my apartment. I will assault them. This is not a question. This is not a threat. This is a fact.
But what
if
if
you
you're
come
not
into my
there?
apartment,
and they
I
take.
will know. I'll be like, oh man, isn't it weird that like the day before the paying people never. First of all, I don't leave a key outside of my door, so that's all outside of it.
You should get a ring bell.
But like, I mean, people in the apartment do have them. But if that happened, like, I'm just gonna be like, and I would know it was them. I would be at their door the next day and I'd be like, yo, y'all come in my apartment? Like, what the fuck?
You should set up a camera.
Where's my shit? You trying to get drop kicked? Nah, this isn't a regular enough occurrence to warrant buying a camera. But
Is this person like they just recently moved?
no, I've been seeing this guy.
I've
I've
seen
seen
him
him like
around.
once or twice. He's not as sociable as everybody else, and for obvious reasons, I think. Anyway, so that was our whole New Year's thing.
Sheesh.
it was great.
So speaking of New Year's and January, Yesterday was January 6th. Do you remember where you were January 6th, 2021?
Yeah, isn't that like National Pie Day or something? Isn't that?
That would be 3.14.
Isn't that what that's known for?
Which is really close to your birthday.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I do remember where
were you
I was. I was in my apartment.
No, you weren't.
I was at the Lockerbie. Yeah, it was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Doing what?
We were actually shooting a skit.
Which skit?
Was it the Wonder Woman skit?
It was.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, I can't really remember that.
Nice.
But yeah, I was in my apartment. Well, I mean, I guess for the remainder of it, but like I found out when
I think I told you.
I found out when we met in the common room, and I look at the TV, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then you were like, "They're raiding the Capitol." I was like, "What?" It was like you had to say it a few times, and I was just like, "I still don't. I'm not. What are you saying?"
I was earlier that day. I think for lunch break, I went to go take a bunch of. Actually, no, because shit, this was before the vaccine. We were still technically quarantining, weren't we?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So earlier that day, I went out to. There was a Proud Boy protest downtown here. And I went there because, one, I know exactly what the Proud Boys say. I know all the things they represent. I don't trust them. I think there is very solid evidence that they are indeed the group that they pretend that they're not, which is a bunch of fucking racists. I know that they're like, hey, look, we got a fucking Cuban Latino guy who's like the leader of the group. He is not an actual leader. He doesn't actually do anything for leading the group. You should look at the actual
part of the group
leadership
anymore.
of the group. He's also not a part of the group anymore. And there's even been open vocal division in the group about why they shouldn't be led by a person like him. The Proud Boys is racist. I don't give a fuck what you say. It's gonna have a real hard time convincing me not, because like I have seen the evidence that they are. Also, just generally, I'm just say this: go to a Proud Boy protest, go hang out with them, and see what kind of vibe you get. Yeah. Anyway, so I was they were marching, and I was marching with them, taking a bunch of pictures and shit. If you go to my Instagram, you can see a bunch of the photos because I wanted to post it on January 6th. But I did that, and I was like, okay, well. Because I had heard people talking about doing shit to the Capitol, and I was like, I'm downtown, nothing's happening. I was like, these guys, they came, they walked around, they talked a bunch about stealing the election, they insulted cops, they were talking about how they don't like the press. I even went and talked with one of the press ladies there, and she was like, it's weird that this group is so like, talking about how they're not anti-racist, but you can look at the way that they perform, the way that they act. They also walk around using language of war and wearing the garb of soldiers and carrying the guns that soldiers carry to really give you the emphasis of like, this is a war, yada, yada, blah, blah, whatever. Fucked around with those guys, took some pictures. It was cool. Also, one of my friends saw me, and he looked over, and he was just like, we made eye contact, and I was just like, he's like, did I see you marching with the Proud Boys earlier? And I was like, yes, but I'm just taking photos. So,
universe shattered.
Right, he was like, what the fuck? So then I get back, and we're filming a skit, and one of my buddies sends me a text, and he's like, bro, they're breaking into the Capitol. And I was like, bro, I was just downtown. They're not breaking into the Capitol. He was like, they are breaking into the Capitol.
No.
And I was like,
Capitol.
and yeah, he capitalized that. I was like, what? And he was like, turn on the TV. And then for the rest of the day, we're filming the skit. And I'm just like looking at the TV. I'm like, what the
That was one of the most
surreal.
bizarre. Yeah, it was so bizarre because here we are. If you haven't seen the Wonder Woman skit, like go watch it. And now you know that behind the scenes, like we're over here in the room shooting this skit, and literally feet away on the TV, it's like, fuck, shit's going the fuck down.
Right.
And we're just like, oh my God. All right, let's get another take on it.
We're running. Well, you do that thing where you spin around like Wonder Woman. We're just like looking, like I'm like sweating. Like I'm like in my mind, this is it? What the fuck? Just how can you focus?
That was a weird day. And then honestly, I remember the reason I said I was in my apartment because for the remainder of like that day or the next few days, I was just glued to my TV.
Yeah.
Just watching it all go down and just like event after event.
I was I'm not sure if I was here or I was on home office, but I had I kind of was like tuned in, like I was listening to NPR like in the background, just like not really paying attention, you know what I mean? And then I mentioned, then like I heard like in the background, like focusing on something completely different, like breach the Capitol, and I was like, hold the fuck on, what?
Those words don't mean what I think they mean, do they?
Pause.
I like paused everything and I like went to my window where I had NPR or any of the broadcasts that was showing it live, and I just like could not fucking believe. And then there was the rest of my day too, because I was just like, are we done? Like, do I need to buy tickets? Do we need to leave the country? What's happening? Do I just start packing? Like, it was crazy. I was scared. It was a very scary day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like just how legally everything behind the scenes. This is the type of moments where I just laugh at our justice system because it's like something so clear cut, and we're still like, well, you know, he didn't say. I mean, he's literally on camera saying stand up and stand by.
And there's even plenty of other
and trial by combat, like all these people like on camera.
Combat Rudy Giuliani, bro, you will fucking die
Right?
if I slap you like this.
He's not doing the combat.
But I'm saying, like there's still lawsuits happening where we're still having a debate whether it actually happened or not. Like
presidents don't go to jail. Facts.
Oh, yeah.
Politicians mostly don't actually get in trouble. When a politician does get in trouble, it's a huge thing, and usually it takes a shit ton of time to happen. And this is just how it is, man. And I hate that.
And that was another traumatic event when I was watching live happening, him not getting the second impeachment. Like all the days leading up to it, and even who's that really clammy fellow?
Rudy Giuliani?
No, the other guy. I don't know.
Oh, Cruz?
No.
Ted Cruz?
They're all clammy. Anyway.
He's very clammy.
They are all clear. All right.
But I'm saying, like, the days leading up to it, there's all this background of, like, these Republicans are going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing.
The turtle.
Yes.
Mitch McConnell.
McConnell, yeah. Everybody's talking like they're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing. And then on the day of just seeing all these people
Lindsey
bitch
Graham
out.
also folding like a piece of paper.
Yeah, man. It was just like, what are we doing here? Like,
all right.
This isn't a debate. It breaks the mind. It really just like it's some of the most discouraging thing
to happen.
Like when it's just blatant in your face corruption, it's so discouraging as a citizen to be like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do?
And I would like to say too, while I know that some people are probably hearing this because I think I know our audience pretty well, wondering the whole, that we're really just kind of shitting on the Republican Party. One, I don't like the Democratic Party. I no longer consider myself a Democrat. I would consider myself a progressive. I think that they haven't done enough change. I think that they're all about the status quo. I think they don't give a fuck, and I think they're as corrupt as any other corrupt politicians are corrupt, hands down.
Both sides are shit,
But at the moment, one side's trying to undo democracy and also undo reality. So this is why we're focusing on that side.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Because even growing up, I found myself like the closer I got to adulthood, it just felt like, okay, I have to pick a side, but that doesn't make sense because there's aspects of both sides that I agree with. And even the people that I talk to, I feel like a lot of people are more center than they realize, but it's like this notion of like, and even the Democrats, like it's really dangerous that we see or the Democrats see themselves as like the good guys always, and that allows Democratic politicians to be even worse than Republicans sometimes in the background under the guise of like, no, we're the good guys, you can trust me. Like, it's like an inherent trust with Democrats, and that allows them to be slimy in the background without people even knowing it. And it's like both sides are shit, man.
I hate that the Democrats are using the fact that the Republican Party has become so abhorrently stupid and just defiant of reality that they're like, look at them, we're better than them,
right?
Slightly. Like that is your standard. That is what you aspire to be, slightly better than insanity.
What about the progress that we're supposed to have? What about fixing these problems? What about moving forward? The Democratic Party doesn't be about that. But like, while everybody, and not everybody, I've had a lot of like, well, what about the other side? So like during the Black Lives Matter protests, like, there were things that were looted and burned. If you look back into American history and look at the civil rights movement and any other racial uprising that has happened, you will see that like these things have happened before. This doesn't mean that they're good. It means that they're things that happen because we can't get proper equality and justice the way that we've been wanting to. Black Lives Matter comes out and says, hey, let's end police brutality, and they're met with more police brutality. Police brutality is a thing that, one, can literally be factually proven, just like systemic racism can be, and people are fighting to undo those things in the country, which is a just cause. But Republicans are out there trying to overthrow an election that they lost, and also at the same time overthrow the government. That is what the whole point was. Those two things ain't the same at all. They're just not. One of them is an event that will live on, like Pearl Harbor and 9/11, because the Capitol hasn't been breached or attacked since 1812. There's been race riots in America every 20 years because America sucks at the problem with race and hasn't been able to fix shit.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the whole Trump era is like it's come full circle to the point now where he's been exiled from the Republican Party because I think there was an interview recent. Well, no, there was an interview recently where he like very much changed his tune on the whole vaccine stance, and he's very pro-vaccine now, and it's that whole like people are seeing him change his tune, and the hardcore people on the right are like, oh well, no, they got to him, like
right.
it's gotten to the point where like Trump has been ousted in some ways. And it's just like it's that level of like what you're talking about, like reality breaking. It's like their dude, that was their guy.
Yeah,
and,
like we can't agree on reality anymore, and it's fucked, right?
Yeah.
That it is really scary.
So I was going to mention that I've been on Rumble, so I've seen there's been some Trump interviews still. Yeah, what's that? What's that sound?
What are you doing?
Oh, sorry. It's not on the microphone.
I couldn't see or hear anything. I thought it was just. I thought it was something with wiggle.
You were like zoned out doing something. I was like, what the
So Rumble is the new Republican YouTube. I've been on there and like reading the comments and reading what people are asking for, and like just seeing Trump is still around. He's just not on the mainstream shit. They've shipped to the other. And I do think that also it's so like the things that the right has problems with, like news coverage and shit, right? Like, okay, sure, we want to talk about news, right? But then all of this is really broken down. I think it goes back to like climate change. When left-wing news said climate change is real and we should be doing something about it, scientists say that climate change is real. The right wing had to take up the stance of climate change isn't real, it's a fucking hoax, it's fake, science is wrong on it. And ever since then, it feels like we haven't been able to be in the same fucking reality, because like science will say some shit like the Republican Party, because of that, has gotten further and further away from science. Like if we can't agree on science, what the fuck are we supposed to agree on?
It's gotten to the point where I feel like we could visually see an asteroid coming towards us, and there will be a section of the population.
You are triggering me.
What?
You are triggering me
This is
so
literally
bad.
the plot of that movie we're telling you to watch.
What?
Don't look up.
Really?
This is literally the plot of the movie. You're literally explaining the plot of the movie. You have to watch it now.
But
also,
like,
be prepared
that's so
for it
true.
to be uncomfortably. It's gonna fuck you up. You're gonna be like,
This is why I'm really hype on the show Succession, and I keep mentioning it, and I really want us to watch it because I've heard it's like loosely based on the Murdoch family.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like it's about like media and like how like. When it gets to the level of like, okay, I think you're a monopoly now. We gotta break this shit up. Like they're talking about buying packages of like local TV stations that are now under.
So
like
that's the thing, is that like there is a problem with the media, and the way that we should address it should be like, let's figure out like reasonable ways to address it. And then the Republicans came at it with, well, all the news that disagrees with me is fake, and like I don't fuck with any of it. And Fox News is just
well, they
entertainment
didn't
and real.
come up with it though. You know who came up with it? It was the Nazi Party in Germany.
Well,
it was Goebbels specifically.
Because if you don't believe the news,
What's scary about the media pipeline too is like, and again, we're talking about both sides here, CNN and Fox News. Like, if you follow that iceberg upwards, you notice that all media is really just owned by like a handful of people, and it trickles down into all these different networks. But like, if you follow that pipeline, like at the very top, it's like a handful of people running all of our information, and it's fucking, and they all have a personal agenda that they're gonna push through the things that they own. I mean, it's insane. It's
also
insane.
So there's like there is an accountability. If you are a news network, or if you are newspaper or anything news tagged, like if you consider yourself a publisher of news and information, you are obliged by certain standards of press. And Fox News was in court because their news was not reflective of those standards. And you know what they did? They fucking claimed themselves to be an entertainment network. So Fox News is officially entertainment network. They are not responsible for the lies that they spew because they are not.
It's just
They are
entertainment.
not news.
Tucker
they are
Carlson-
entertainment now.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson is a opinion segment, but
I know, okay, but that's different. It's like marked as what it is, but like they're just like the news Fox News, the channel,
Right.
is an entertainment channel.
But that's what I'm saying is like whether you're talking about like specific people or the network as a whole, like they claim themselves as entertainment, but it's like the fine print, you know, like nobody's gonna look into that. People take people like Tucker Carlson at their word, not knowing that like, yo, it's literally an opinion segment.
Yeah.
There's
They
nothing
need
factual
to-
about this, and it's and you know,
I don't think that Fox News should be allowed to call themselves Fox News. Like they should
Should be the
rebrand.
Fox Entertainment
should
Channel.
watch
If they've
Succession, dude,
changed,
I'm telling
you.
if they've changed their policy and they changed the way they changed their standards, they need to change. Like they need to rebrand.
See, here's the thing about all this change is like these conglomerates have just fuck you money.
Yo,
Like,
they have no financial incentive to actually
They
change.
have so much money that it doesn't like they anticipate getting into trouble. They have a budget for lawsuits.
and
Like,
So-
what
they-
also
you know,
sucks.
like,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, that's all. They have budgets for these things. Like they know they're gonna get in trouble.
They
don't-
also
don't
have
care.
like alternative sponsors. Like whenever a brand drops them, there's another fucking silver bullet eat me now thing that you can have on there that will
For the-
Hello?
pay you buku
Or
bucks.
the like, you know, you guys tired of regular medicine? Would you like to come on down and take some of my genuine horse pills that'll give you all the vitality that you're gonna need? Listen here, this is what most men don't know. You've been eating too many soybeans out there, and those soybeans are slowly riding away at your masculinity. The only way to get better at it is to take Chris Johnson's 100% approved manly horse
Whoa,
pills.
whoa! I heard that makes frogs gay though.
Well, here's the
it's
thing.
the rain that makes the frogs gay.
So
I think. Or, I'm sorry.
just with the news in general too, I think a lot of what you see is that the way to, and once again, I will say that this goes for the left, but not in the same way, is to hold people's imagination with fear. Everybody knows that fear is a bigger motivator than anything. If I can get you afraid, I can literally get you to buy shit. That this is a fucking fact. During the pandemic, I bought survival gear because I was like, motherfuckers are beating each other's asses over toilet paper. I need to buy these things. I need to have them. So if I need to go bug the fuck out, then I have a bug out bag. Like if you own a bug out bag, it's because you have fear inside of you and you've been promoted by fear to buy those things. And I will also say, I own a gun. This goes to other people who own guns. This goes to people who own a lot of guns. I think that maybe some of you guys are kind of motivated by fear. I know a lot of people do hunting and sport shooting, but most people I know that own guns always say it's better to have it than I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, which is a fear-based statement. I understand it. I understand that it's built into how we feel as people. I have felt the same way. But in the long run, you know, and I know that statistically, which is a fucking science, you got a better chance of using your gun on yourself or your loved one than you do on anybody who's actually fucking with you. And I also know that some people live in parts of the country where they need guns. We stepped out on Christmas morning hearing gunshots over in my brother's neighborhood because that's how it is over there. And everybody over there has a gun. I get that. You know why they have a gun? To protect themselves because they're keenly aware of the dangers that they live in, which is also based on fear. And when the Republican Party can use that fear shit, they use it to make the dollars.
Hey, so go check out mine and Pat's reaction to the Dale Brown urban survival shooting. Just building on the whole fear thing is like, you know, he has a lot of like, you know, if you get caught up, there's something you can do to protect yourself, and then it's, you know, it's kind of building on that. But
yeah, because if I can get you afraid, I can get you to buy shit. And this is the NRA fucking knows it, and that's why they're able to make the buku fucking dollars that they make. Because if you can't get a sponsorship with a regular company and you're one of those like far right things, I guarantee the NRA will fucking pay your ass to shill for their products.
But again, these conglomerates are so vast now that like if they lost all their sponsorships, I don't think it would matter. I think they have like just so much money that it doesn't. They don't live the same reality as like the people that they're preaching to. Like there's just no way that a person with that much money just has the same perspective anymore. Like that you know, I think that like the more you own, I think that sense of entitlement just kind of gets ingrained in you because you just have that power to do it. But okay, so like, do you think real news now needs to be like, do you think it's like an individual responsibility now? Like, do you think like I feel like a lot of real news is like these guerrilla channels on YouTube that are doing like independent work, which comes with its own you know, negatives because they're not as experienced journalists and they
can't be regulated either.
They can make mistakes and like regulation, but like what sucks is like no matter what you're talking about, it's always down to like hey, you know, it's individual responsibility to fact check. It's an individual responsibility to stay on top of things. It's like, why? Why can't you just tell me the truth? We can
live through 2020.
I have so much shit to do. I don't have time to fucking fact check the people that are supposed to be telling me the truth.
We live through 2020. Individual responsibility is out the fucking window. I'm sorry. As individuals, we do not have responsibility to do the right thing. You'll do what's good for you, but when it comes for a group, you'll do what's good for you.
But like a well-oiled functioning society, like it shouldn't have to be civilian responsibility. Like fact checking shouldn't be like, if you're talking about a news network and it's like, well, you can fact check us. It's like, motherfucker, it's your job to fact check yourself.
Show me your fact. In fact, maybe
I'm just asking
what
questions.
Are you talking
just
about?
asking. We need to go back to like old. Like I want citations. That's one of the reasons why I like whenever I'm like going through something on NPR and they'll just link to some extra shit and you can like click on it. You're like, oh look, this is that thing that's talking about it. Or when you ask someone to like, well, why do you believe that? And they're like, well, here, let me send you a link to tell you why I believe this. And it's to like truthnews.log. And it's just like, you read the first sentence and you're like, okay, I don't trust that. It's like off tops.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
It's also confirmation bias too, because like people that are going, like the people that are like, yeah, I do take time to fact check things. It's more just like you took the time to read the first article that agreed with you.
Wait, also like the sentence "I did my research," in my opinion, at this point always translates into "I watched a 10-minute video on Facebook."
Yep.
And I cracked this wide open.
And that's what I'm saying. They saw the first piece of media that agreed with their beliefs, and they're like, there it is. That's the truth.
If I may interject with a recommendation, I have been following Democracy Now, democracynow.org. It's my favorite source of news because Amy Goodman always invites both sides. You know, like she does give floor to like these like other opinions. Like it's a very, I would say it's center to left leaning because they do acknowledge climate change and things like that. And somehow that is political now. But anyway, let's consider them left. Okay, let's consider them left. But there's they always like invite speakers that are not of like that opinion to like try to like ask them questions, and like they give them floor. They give them like way to explain themselves in a. Like, I mean, if they are unhinged and unreasonable, they will not be put on the news. But, like, they will let reasonable people who have something to say to speak, even if they disagree with their takes. Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that. I also think that if you are a consumer of a certain, like, TV station for your news, like, at least once a week, make this a practice to turn the channel and just watch something else.
Watch something else. Even if you don't agree with it.
The truth is always in the middle. Like your trusted source of news is telling you whatever they want to tell you. Take it with a grain of salt, and then look at what other people are telling you. Take that with a grain of salt, and then have diabetes.
Well, that'd be high blood pressure, but I feel you. So I do want to say too that in the way that people talk, because I've been on Rumble, like I said, there's a lot of beliefs. People just like, I believe it was the FBI. I believe it was this. I believe it was that. And I think that, and then they go on and try to prove these beliefs. And the thing is that you can prove a theory. I don't know that you can prove beliefs, right? Like, Micky, you don't have to believe that your hat is orange because you have all the evidence to know that your hat is orange. So people will be like, I believe that January 6th was actually Antifa, and here's my proof. And it's like, that's not how beliefs worked out. Like, because if you have proof, like, you don't have to. Like, you don't have to believe in it. So you're going around using the word belief and then trying to back it up like it's a fact. But, like, you don't believe in facts. Facts are facts. They're proven. 2 + 2 = 4. You don't have to believe in it.
Are you saying facts don't have feelings?
I'm saying
are you saying facts don't care about your feelings?
Facts don't care about your feelings, but also beliefs literally are based on your feelings.
Yeah. Hey, we haven't like looked at the comments.
We're about to pop them up. It's 10:38 now. Once it hits 10:45.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So like we said in the beginning of the podcast, like, don't want to identify as either right or left. Like it's coming.
I identify as pretty far left.
Well, okay,
that's me.
I'm saying like like we can be weary of both sides, but I feel like a lot of people are getting. Or I'll talk about myself. I'm kind of getting tired. I've been tired of the whole like sides thing. Do you think we would benefit from just like a third side opening up as another option in this country, or do you think we would benefit?
Would you like to?
Or do you think we would benefit from somehow finding a way to
May I?
cooperate and consolidate to one party? You know,
Before
like,
were you going to talk
Go
about how
for
they
it.
do it in Czech?
Yeah.
All right, because I want you to say that, but I want to say that. So here's the reason why we can never do 3 is because each party knows because it's a tug of war, right? That as soon as somebody steps off of this side to come vote for this third side, that their side is weak now, and we can pull them all the way over. So if all the Democrats decide they want to start voting for a third party, Democrats will never win an election because all the Republicans have to do is always vote straight Republican every single time. And if the Republicans want to vote for a third party, same difference. But Ketty, what do they do in your country? Oh, Spencer, you got something to say? Or are you just stretching?
No, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Oh, got you.
They're 50.
Ketty. Oh, okay. That clock is wrong then. Might be.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say that the fact that we have multiple parties and we have multiple party governance in my country makes it so that every time during election, the party that wins gets maybe 20%. Then the next one gets maybe like 15 something. So they always have to form a majority within the parties that got seats in the parliament. So you have usually around 5 different parties that have to work together. So you don't have this you don't have this A-B option. You have multiple choice, and it can always go either way. Like sometimes the party that wins goes into a coalition with a party that has also won the election but is like the 5th place. So maybe like the 1st and the 5th come together, which is a vast representation of like different varied beliefs. But they have to come together because the party that won only got 20%. They need 50.
What's a division like in your country? Are people as divided as they are here? And also, does your country get shit done slower or faster than we do?
I mean, division is everywhere. My
Is it as
country.
bad there
My
as it is
country
here?
has its fair share of problems. There are different from the American problems. We don't have gun problems. We don't have reproductive rights problems or healthcare or education or anything like that. But we do have xenophobia. We are very intolerant towards minorities. And that is something that only few of the parties that are in power right now are trying to address. Everybody else just coasting or using it to their advantage because, populism. But I think that we get things done. I mean, I don't think that there's major issues like reproductive rights that are being questioned by either party.
Or education and healthcare, which I think this country benefits from hugely if we all had it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's I don't think they're ever going to give that to us because that's kind of like the secret sauce of how.
But if we want that,
in
we can get
So if to just
Damn well can.
since I started talking about reproductive rights, the only party that would be against abortions in Czech is the Christian party.
Oh,
I can't translate it correctly, but yeah, they would be, and they have maybe. I honestly haven't checked the election results, but let's imagine they have 7% or 10%.
I'm laughing because your country's wildly.
Yeah, but I mean, people still vote for them.
atheist. I know, but I'm saying for them to be
Yeah, but
the
okay,
ones
but
that-
this is what they stand for, and it's fine. But they have a representation. They represent the people that voted for them. But on this ground, the ground of abortion, they will never make a coalition with any other party, because any other of those parties are for abortion
yeah.
and
that's
for
it.
women's choice.
Unless
So-
they change their opinion with the rest of
Yeah,
society, they
and-
literally can't be
Yeah,
involved.
There's another part. I mean, we still have Communist Party. In power, they have maybe 5 or 6%, but they are still there, and they get shut down whenever they bring up some communist shit.
It's sit out.
Yeah, but that's see, it kind of levels out the
Yeah.
insanity.
And it also it doesn't sound like anyone's villainized, right? Because I feel like if you
If
you made a
there's
communist
lot
party
of-
here, you would be drugged the fuck out of wherever the fuck you're at, and something terrible is gonna happen to you.
See, I think
Yeah.
part of the I would be afraid of. I wonder how that would work in America because I feel like being divisive is part of the culture damn near now. It's we're
Oh, yeah.
everybody is about
If it's
their.
us versus them, bro.
Yeah.
You know that that's what
Yeah.
the us versus them is what this country is built on, unfortunately. And it's I just wonder opening up that many parties. I feel like we'd be even more cut.
Well, honestly, though, but it would make more sense if the Republican Party could get their fucking unhinged individuals out of there and just
like Republican values are not bad values.
What are Republican values right now?
Republican values right now are, but I'm saying like traditional Republican values, which is like small government, low taxes. You know, don't tread on me. That type. You know, just like small government. Let me live my life.
Cool. So those are the type of things that like people would be willing to sit down at a table and talk about. Yeah. But for their small government. And this goes, I'll take it all the way the fuck back. They went from, states' rights. You use small government, you get your states' rights, but they always want states' rights to usually infringe on other people. Look at what Texas is doing right now. Look at what every single fucking Republican state is doing with their voter registrations and their voter rights, because it is a literal proven fact that the less people that vote, the more Republicans will win. Because the majority of people are further left than Republicans, because Republicans have taken it too far right, and the left party has come well the fuck all the way over there with them. Yeah. I do want to say, though, that we're coming up close to the end, so let's start talking about... Finish. Oh, well, give me a second. I'm getting them ready. You guys, in the comments, we're going to talk about ways to fix the problem. So let us know what you think would be some good solutions. And Marquetta,
we're gonna figure it out here.
What were you saying?
We're gonna solve America, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
What were you saying,
happening
Katie?
Today. I was gonna say that, like, just like, you know, on the right, there is just like a very loud minority of extreme opinions that I think the Republican Party should just distance from, like Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Jewish space lasers,
or like. Just, things like that, like, just should be instantly, like, you should not associate yourself with that if you are part of the Republican Party. At the same time, I don't think that the Democratic Party is being truthful and honest in what their values and stances are when they keep close to somebody like AOC or Bernie Sanders, who they just don't respect, don't like really like follow on any of their proposals or policies.
And that's where that transparency comes in, because everybody on the Democratic side is like, no, I'm the good guy. It's like, okay, well then do this thing that we've been wanting.
That everybody wants.
No.
Well, it's going to be really hard for us to forgive all the student loans and maybe bail. You guys can bail out companies, but you can't bail out the American people.
Literally like 0.5% of the military budget. Like,
can't cut the military. Can't do that.
Hey,
we've got the biggest military for the last 10 years. I'm pretty sure we could take 1 year off by 5% of the military and fix a gang of problems and still have so much military.
We don't use the M word.
You know, all of that time, man, you know, we were putting money into the military, and then look what happened with Afghanistan. That really fucking fixed a bunch of shit, didn't it? How many billions of dollars we put into the military, and so y'all could let Afghanistan... What the fuck was the point? I got friends that died over there. The fuck was the point? I could have no student loans right now.
Because money.
It's fucking money.
All right, so should we read some of these?
Yeah, sure. Let's start. I'm trying to roll up to the top. QPL, Poland, shout out. Says states' rights to hold slaves. Let's go. I mean, that's where it came from. It's where
Jesus Christ.
Both parties have major issues. Amanda B says, 100%.
The world you are talking about, Zero Kaiba, the world you are talking about is a utopia. It will never happen. Sadly, America is ran on hate. I mean,
I don't want a utopia. I think look at other countries in the world that have. I mean, if a fucking Sweden and Norway can exist with the way that they are, like, can we not just get up to that level?
No, that's socialism.
Caddy, read some.
If you like democracy now, I urge you to check out the Majority Report.
All right, you gotta say whose name it is.
From Zimbu the Monkey.
Okay.
Thank you for the recommendation. I feel like I have read some articles on Majority Report.
Zimbo also says Biden can unilaterally erase student debt and give COVID relief. They hide behind archaic process. Oh God, it jumped. God, it jumped again. Parliamentarian in a time where they control all branches. Once again.
I also I want to address that. You know, we don't always get this political in the Normies universe, but
Today's the
coup is an inherently political subject. It's not that we are trying to politicize something.
You should talk about last year.
This is inherently political. If you are not comfortable with this topic, you don't have to be here. But it's something that definitely needs to be discussed. It's a 1 year anniversary, and
nothing's happened. No one's been held responsible.
Nobody's
Oh, a
being
bunch
held
of people
responsible.
have, but not like any big heads.
The people in power are not being held responsible.
That's
so.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a bunch of people did get like, the guy that left the pipe bomb. That's I don't think that's ever gonna get solved. You know, that's still a mystery. So that there's somebody with that capability just living his or her life out there.
Right? Oh, plenty of them to it. So before you, Launer says biggest military and the next 5 in the list spending our allies or so. Yeah, I'm just saying it'd be like I like to think about this analogy. We're like this house, like if the whole world's a neighborhood, America is like this really nice house at the end of the street that has like all this wealth and all this money. And it's got a big fence around it, and we got a shit ton of guns in the house, but like there's not a lot of education and healthcare. Like people are kind of stupid and sick. I'm one of those stupid, sick people in both ways. I'm not just talking about everybody else. I'm literally talking about myself. Like I could have used a better education. I know where I got my fucking education. But like all of that, right? And then the other houses on the block are like, damn, like, I mean, our house isn't as big and we don't have as many guns, but I feel like the people are doing like a little bit better than those guys down there, right? That's all. Like you would laugh at that house. Look at it from the other world. Look at it from the perspective of everywhere else.
The military,
It sounds like the house of Pablo Escobar.
the military budget is so ridiculous. It's like, okay, let me break it down to a smaller amount. It's like if somebody had $100 and the other person had nothing, but all they needed was 1 penny to fix all their problems. And that person won't let them have 1 penny.
So
like,
we can't cut that, bro.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, it's all tied up. I'm like, I just need 1 penny to. I will never bother you again. It will fix literally everything. Just give me 1 penny.
Yeah, and I think we could tax billionaires, but just think about the day that we decide to tax billionaires, and I 100% think we should. But all the billionaires are just like, oh, well, then we're just going to move our fucking companies to China. And then everybody in it, like whoever decided to tax the billionaires and like the other parties just be like, you're making China stronger. They're taking all the companies and moving them over to China. How the fuck are we going to? And they're just like, well, what are we going to do?
I hope things get better, man.
Bro,
But
I will come over your house and we will watch Don't Look Up. I'll watch it again with you because we're really hitting some points on it.
I can't believe that's what it's about. But like, I hope things get better, man. But I can't shake the pessimistic feeling that like I feel like I'm going to see the end of the world in my lifetime, dude.
My parents thought the same thing and raised me, so.
Yeah, but it's like we're getting down to the wire, man.
Also, the end of America isn't the end of the world. There's a whole entire world out there that is doing just fine. I mean, they're not doing just fine, but they're all right. If America's going to get shook up and fucked all the way up in order to get its shit together, that's going to really suck, and I don't want to have to live through that.
I've always wanted to go live somewhere else, not because like I want to get out of America or anything, but just I mean, having a worldly perspective is a good thing.
Fun
I
facts.
think everybody should do that.
Me and Marquetta
I agree.
got into a small fight last year while leaving. Because we were like, oh man, if things go super sideways, I guess we should have a plan on how to leave the country.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I should leave the country. I have to probably stay here and be a freedom fighter with my family, because if there's a civil war coming, if they're going to overthrow the government tomorrow, I can't just leave my family. And we had a little tiny argument about it, which is wild because it means that like in our relationship, the arguments that we're having are about should you flee the country or not, or stay and fight and die with your fucking people.
Oh,
How about that?
man.
What a time to be alive.
Fuck. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like I know, previous generations had the same
They had World War
thought
II.
process, but we're literally on the brink of like no return in terms of global warming. Like
Well, that'll get us.
we're on the brink of like no return in a lot of aspects, and it's a scary time right now, man. It's fucking scary.
Can I say something about
I hate
this?
to be pessimistic, but
I have, since I was in primary school all the way through graduating with master's degrees, I had always been told in school during any numerous subjects in classes that I took that climate change is real. We need to recycle. We need to do all these things. We need to hold politicians accountable. I've been told that since I was fucking 5. I was helping fetch fucking heavy ass glass bags to the glass recycling store with my grandma. That's been in my life. And when we moved to the when I moved to the United States, I couldn't find a recycling bin. I was absolute, like I had a mental breakdown.
No.
I had an absolute mental breakdown because I was like, well, we're gonna die. This is it. Like, how is United States not doing anything? But mind you, also I'm in Indiana. The recycling really sucks here, but I'm hoping that other states have their shit together a little bit better than us. But still, this is pathetic.
And I want to take a second just to read Zero Kaibos, because I do want to, for this end part, get a chance to focus on you guys. Zero Kaibos says, I got to say, taking away the guns doesn't really help. I live in NYC. Guns are literally allowed, and gun violence, or literally aren't allowed, and gun violence here is still really high. I think that with the way guns are, there's no going back on that. I do think that education and mental health is going to be the best way to actually solve the gun problem, is if there's more education and better access to mental health.
I also have another idea.
You gotta read one of these guys if you're gonna say your idea.
How
about Normies Republic? Read!
No. About gun,
okay.
like gun control, and this is very controversial, and I'm sure most people will not agree with me. I own guns, and I got nothing to hide. If they make it tougher to get guns, I'll be fine. I don't think we have a gun problem in this country. I think we have an ammo problem in this country, because without ammo, a gun is just a fancy paperweight. Now, when you go to buy a gun, you have to do background checks. You have to do quite a few things. So it's not, I mean, it could be a little bit more stringent. I agree. But getting a gun, you actually have to do stuff. Buying ammo, I go into fucking Walmart with my ID and I buy as much as I want. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a gun control problem. It's like, ammo is way too easy to get. And I am advocating that, like, again, I got nothing to hide. If I want ammo, I'm going to go fucking get it. I think ammo control is the problem. It's not gun control.
No. Taco Pash says, if things go south, take over Indy and establish the Normies Republic. I don't know that Indy has enough resources for us to establish our own republic, but we could definitely try.
I want to elaborate on the recycling because I think I confused some people. There is a recycling program in Indiana, but it's awful. The way recycling is done here is by commingling different materials like glass and aluminum and plastic in one bin. A lot of people don't even wash the things that they put in there, and it gets contaminated, and when things like that get contaminated, usually they end up on a landfill. So the recycling here, there's no education about how it should be done and how it should work. And I am firmly convinced that most of the trash here ends up on the landfill. So yeah, that is a giant systemic failure that no one's addressing, and it's just really sad. Also, recycling is just something that is made for people to feel a little bit better about their environmental footprint. It doesn't really help. Actual companies that are polluting the planet need to be held accountable better and not be able to buy their credits and their conscience off of other people or other companies that have less of an environmental footprint. The way environmental footprint was like incentivized through economy is insane. You can literally buy your way out of having too much pollution just by buying the limits of another company that doesn't have as much pollution.
Yeah, and Zumbu also says that we ship our trash to developing countries to be processed there, which is, once again, fucked. I do want to say from up top, Glenn the Poet, I know exactly the Chris Rock sketch you're talking about. Zend also says, nah, pay your student loans. I think it's kind of unfair. I signed up for student loans when I was 18 as a fucking idiot, and don't worry, I am paying them back. But also the fact that the government is willing to literally bail out companies and not bail out the people in the country that's the most fucked up generation right now because of the shit that we've been going through that they aren't helping with. I don't feel like it's fair at all. Still paying them. Just don't feel like it's fair.
I wanted to address Niall. He's like, I feel like Mickey's more right inclined, but not entirely. Sorta. I think I'm definitely mostly on the left. I'd say like 90-10, maybe 80-20 even.
Do you know what your like right-leaning views are?
Right-leaning views. I mean, I enjoy guns. I don't own guns for like home safety or like I want to carry it with me everywhere. I genuinely just
You enjoy guns for the same reason you enjoy knives and collecting weird watches.
I enjoy the sport of it. I do like going to the range and just shooting guns. You know, I like shooting guns, but I like smoking weed too. You know, it's just like.
See, I feel like gun ownership is not. Thank you, Zimbu the Monkey. I was literally just about. Gun ownership's not a right wing thing,
and it's not anymore. Yeah, but like I mean, I guess I don't know what my right leaning. Well, well, okay, I guess taxes. You know, like we're
You want to pay less taxes?
I would love to pay less taxes because, okay, I would be fine paying the taxes that they want to take from me if everybody was doing that too. But I see all these motherfuckers making billions of dollars that aren't paying a single fucking penny, and I'm over here trying to make it in the middle class. It's like, if you're poor in this country, it really, really sucks for you, but they have nothing to take from you. If you're insanely rich in this company, you know all the loopholes to where they can't take from you. The people that get fucked in this country are the middle class. And it's like,
in the lower class too.
You will turn Republican real quick once you start making a little bit of money, and then at the end of the year, you see how much they want to take from you, and you're like, pardon?
Wouldn't care if they took this amount and it actually benefited
exactly.
us.
Exactly.
There you go. There you go.
Because literally our taxes is getting converted to the military and turning brown kids into skeletons.
That's the thing. And I think that would be my biggest thing is like, man, the middle class absolutely just gets reamed with taxes. If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know. And it's funny to even say like loopholes, but that's literally our financial structure. To like keep your money, you need to know loopholes. And why do
you need to pay people to tell you those loopholes?
And why do loopholes exist in the first place? It's like our financial structure is designed to be taken advantage of. It just is. And if you don't know how to take advantage of it, then you are gonna lose most of the money that you make throughout the year. It's fucking insane. But yeah, I guess that would be my most right-leaning thing. But I mean, I believe equal rights for everybody from all walks of life. I believe in gun control. I think that they should be way tougher to get. I really do believe that. Yeah, and
when I found out what a bump stock was, and I was like, you can do that? It feels kind of fucked up.
Again, like the whole gun thing, like, bro, if you have nothing to hide, if you have no problems, like, it doesn't matter how hard they make it, you're gonna be able to get it. Like, it doesn't, like, why? I just don't get it, man. I really don't. But then again, I don't own guns for the same reason that most people own guns. Like, I don't keep loaded guns in the house. I purely enjoy them for the sport. That's it.
I do think it's a good idea that we do a political compass test. That'd be pretty fun. I am interested where the three of us line. You think we can get Ryan to put that on Twitter later or something?
I wanted to address a comment that passed by from Zend HD. He was talking about feeling like the environmental activists are just trying to erase humanity off of the planet and think that the world would be better without people. I was just like very confused by that comment, and I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. I don't know.
What was the comment? I'm sorry, I missed it.
One of the comments was talking about how they feel that environmental activists are actually like imagining a world without humans being a part of it, rather than trying to figure out a solution of cohabiting,
All right.
like with all creatures. There's an HD. I'm talking about you. I just want to say, I personally, as a person who grew up around this like end quote propaganda, and aka science, is just I've never heard that concern. I think everybody is just trying to create a world not without people, but without all of the accessibilities maybe, or all the convenience. Like, people just need to do with a little less convenience. For example, 30-minute showers, probably not good when we have water shortage, so maybe
people in California can't water their lawn right now.
Cut it down to 3 minutes, instead of having a green lawn, just have the local vegetation that should be there.
I'm out to abolish lawns, straight up.
I saw the most bizarre picture recently. I don't know. I think it was Arizona, and they're having like a pretty intense drought. So it's like this wide angle of this like desert landscape. It just looks hot as hell. But then dab smack in the middle, you have a golf course with just all the sprinklers on.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Fuck them. Like, I'm so sorry.
I hate that.
If we need to learn how to play golf
that
on
needs to be
just
shut
straight
down.
turf, baby.
Golf?
Turf. I said turf.
Okay. All right.
I know that there's a difference between the grass and the turf. Look, the game can change drastically. We can learn to play on turf. All right, I'm not saying abolish golf, but dead serious, like, we don't need lawns. I don't know that there's a point for lawns. Honestly, aside from drinking water. Like, fuck that. We need the water. Fuck a lawn.
I kind of enjoy that when you go out west to places like California and like some of these drier states. Like, I like the aesthetic there because like people really don't have lawns there, but it looks beautiful. It look, they get creative in other ways.
Yeah.
They have like rocks and shit in their yard. And, like,
all right, so we're coming towards the end, and I see there's 2 questions to answer, and I hear Spencer typing the answer for it. One, we're gonna watch Demon Slayer. They're coming out. We watched it yesterday, so you're gonna be getting that soon. Book of Boba is gonna be coming out next week. We had to delay because everyone's been we've been having COVID, go through the office, so you guys know how that is. Thanks, guys. Proper
Yay.
discourse, hanging out with everybody.
I love to see all
This
the
was,
first time
honestly,
commenters. Niall,
yeah.
Aramis. I love that.
Yeah, we
Can
had
I-
Zend here, Zimbu Monkey.
First time chat, pirated TV pro.
I just want to say that this chat on Twitch has been so much more civil than it usually is on YouTube, and I'm impressed with everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being reasonable.
And-
Even if we don't see eye to eye, you guys are
Yeah.
very polite and very, respectful.
Yeah, that was actually way more civil than I thought it was going to be.
Thanks for letting us get the space to be a little political and kind of talk about what's going on in our country. I know that doesn't exactly relate to everybody. We're usually a pretty relatable channel, but don't worry, we're back to our same nerd shit and shenanigans next week.
And look, we're not the fucking news. Like,
just start pinging,
I
man.
know I literally said
Yeah.
the whole thing about fact checking, but hey, do your own fucking research.
But also, do your own research, but I'm going to say,
In a broad
listen to science.
spectrum. Yeah.
All right, if 100 scientists say something, it's probably true. My bad. If 100% of scientists say something, it's
Peer
probably
review.
This is really dark, and I'm not
science.
saying this to be funny, but I wonder if there's like a suicide rate among scientists because like it's got to be so fucking frustrating. Like it's got to be so incredibly
Hey, man.
frustrating.
Watch, don't look up.
Watch, don't look
Watch,
up.
don't look up.
Also, everybody here, watch Don't Look Up and be upset. Be upset about how you're like, oh, fuck, that doesn't feel like fiction at all. All right, guys.
When you see Kate Dibielski, you will understand she's me.
Well, we're the Normies. We're just a bunch of people who hang out and do reactions and other various things on the internet and make content for you guys. Also, fuck that. We're not content creators. We're artists. I don't care what anybody says. 30 years ago, we'd be artists. I'm an artist.
30 years. 30
All right.
years of my career.
Play the thing.
Hey, it's happening.
Jeez. Good job, everybody.
Talking Normies podcast.